If you're doing research, you may have stored some of your test subjects data in one file and then saved new test subjects data in another file. If you want to start analyzing, you might want to merge the data of these test subjects. For example, here I have a part of the data of the test subjects in my research. And now I want to add new test subjects from a different file. To do so, I can use the merge function. I go to Data, I click on Merge Files, and then choose Add Cases. Using the button Browse, I then search for the file in which I have saved the data of extra test subjects. This is the file with the extra test subjects right here. I click Open, and then Continue, and exactly the same variables are present in both datasets. They are shown on the right side right here. Under unpaired variables, you would see variables that do exist in one dataset, but that do not exist in the other dataset. For example, if I would have had a variable for education in one dataset and not the other, then you would see that variable on the left side here. It's also possible that you have a variable in both datasets that is the same, but that has a different name. For example, if I had called the pre-measurement of fear in one dataset angst 4, fear pre, and in the other dataset angst v, fear p. If I would then add those, they would be recognized as two separate variables. So by selecting both of them and clicking pair, I can merge those two variables into one. And you'll see that a new variable has been created containing the values of both of those previous variables. In this case, the variables were already called exactly the same name, so we can continue with paste. We run the syntax as we would usually, and now you can see that the new test subjects and their data have been added to the original file. You may also want to add a new variable to your dataset. For example, when you have done a new measurement, such as a post measurement for all of your test subjects. If you have saved the data of that post measurement in another data file, you want to add it to your original data file for your analysis. To add a variable from another data file, you can also use the merge function. In order to do this, we again go back to Data, we click on Merge Files, and then we click on Add Variables, because we want to add a variable from another file. Using Browse, we again find the file in which I have saved the data, and I've saved the data under this file right here. And I click Open, and then Continue. And then under New Active Dataset, you can see the variables that will soon unite in the merged file. The variables that have an asterisk are the variables from the original dataset that I just opened, while the variables with a plus sign next to them are the variables from the new dataset that I would want to add. You can also see that over here. The asterisk refers to the active dataset I started with, and the plus refers to the dataset I just found with Browse and that I want to add. Under excluded variables, you'll find the variable ID. That's because ID is a double variable. It occurs in both datasets. That's very practical because we want to use it to ensure that the values of angst-na, fear post-measurement, are assigned to the correct test subjects and not mixed up randomly. In order to do this, we use ID as a key variable. In order to make this happen, we click on Match Cases on Key Variables. The default setting is that both files will provide cases. That is correct, so we're going to leave it that way. And now we click on ID and then add it under Key Variables. What happens now is that all the values of angst-na, fear post-measurement, are placed at specific locations depending on the corresponding ID numbers. The ID number is a kind of anchor that ensures that all values of that variable are matched with the correct test subjects in the merged data set as well. We then click on Paste, we run the syntax, and now you can see that the new variable has been added right here. And we can continue with our analysis.